Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining the channel. We've got yet another interesting story here we're going to share. We're going to go through it together and then maybe offer a few pithy comments. So it says, jury convicts Las Vegas man of $24 million AI crypto mining Ponzi scheme. Brent Kovar told at least 400 investors a supercomputer was mining crypto for them and that their money was insured by the FDIC. So, in brief, a federal jury has convicted Brent Kovar of defrauding at least 400 investors of $24 million through his company Profit Connect. He promised fixed returns of 15% to 30% a year, a full money-back guarantee, and reserves of hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto. The SEC shut down the company in 2021 when it put the losses at half that figure. A federal jury in Las Vegas has convicted a business owner of running a $24 million cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme that took money from at least 400 investors, the Justice Department said on Monday. Brent C. Kovar owned Profit Connect, a Las Vegas company that from late 2017 until July 2021 claimed to run artificial intelligence software on a supercomputer that mined cryptocurrency and verified transactions on other networks. Investors were promised a fixed return of 50% to 30% a year and a full money-back guarantee, and told the company was backed by hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto reserves. Prosecutors said Kovar knew Profit Connect was not profitable, held no reserves, could not pay the returns it advertised, and had no way of honoring the guarantee. Money from investors went on running the company, buying gifts for employees, and buying Kovar a house, with some of it recycled to early investors as though it were mining proceeds. Kovar also told investors their money was insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, according to Ryan Corner, the special agent in charge at the FDIC's Office of Inspector General, whose office investigated the case alongside the FBI and IRS criminal investigation. Kovar was convicted after a 9-day trial on 11 counts of wire fraud, 2 of mail fraud, and 2 of money laundering. He is due to be sentenced on November 30th and faces a statutory maximum of 280 years. Though the actual term will be set by the judge under federal sentencing guidelines. A scheme first halted in 2021. The SEC shut down Profit Connect 5 years ago, obtaining a restraining order and asset freeze in July 2021 and putting the losses at up to $12 million from at least 277 investors, half what prosecutors have now established. More than 90% of the company's income came from investors, the regulator said, and none of it was used to trade crypto. None of it was used to trade crypto. Kovar ran the business with his mother, Joy, then 86. The SEC said $1.2 million went into her personal account in 10 equal transfers over less than 2 months, with a further $1.7 million taken out through cash withdrawals, credit card payments, and the purchase of a car. Monday's announcement names only Brent Kovar. The regulator had dealt with him before, filing a civil injunction against him and his father, Glenn, in 2009 over a pump and dump scheme run through a company called Skyway Global, which also cost investors $12 million. Investment fraud remains the largest single category of crypto crime reported to the FBI, which logged $11.37 billion in losses for calendar year 2025, up 22% on the year before, meaning 2024. So the Consumer Federation of America scaled that to $80.7 billion using a multiplier for unreported fraud, with Americans over 60 accounting for $4.4 billion of the reported total. So the FBI logged $11.37 billion in losses. The Consumer Federation of America scaled that to $80.7 billion in fraud using a multiplier for all the unreported fraud. So we've learned a few things from this article. Number one would be that 400 investors, $24 million, okay, which is quite hefty. So you were basically saying that if you had 200 investors, that would be 12 million. And the article gets to that, nearly half. Okay, so fixed returns between 15 to 30% a year. All right. So you could basically say that's potentially up to 2 or 3% per month in some cases, or a little bit less than 1.5% per month, which is still quite aggressive. And then what we have here, what we have here is the timeline. So this actually got started in 2017. He claimed, even back in 2017, to have an AI software on a supercomputer that was mining cryptocurrency and verifying transactions on other networks. So kind of this obfuscation of where exactly these transactions were going to be verified if it wasn't really truly on-chain. Also claimed a full money-back guarantee, told the company was backed by hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto reserves. And then, of course, the federal government, in this case, it's the Nevada, it says here, the U.S. Attorney for the state of Nevada, District of Nevada, it said that federal prosecutors said that the defendant knew that the company Profit Connect was not profitable, held zero reserves, could not pay the returns it was advertising, meaning 15 to 30% per year, and of course had no way of honoring the guarantee. So money, of course, was simply to run the company itself, get gifts for employees. Isn't that nice? Getting this defendant a house, and then some of it was recycled to early investors as though it were mining proceeds. And then this is also maybe a big no-no to tell investors that their money was insured by the FDIC when perhaps it wasn't. So it was a 9-day trial, 11 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of mail fraud, and 2 counts of money laundering. So he'll be sentenced on November 30th and faces a statutory maximum of 280 years. Could end up serving just a fraction of that. This guy is doesn't clarify how old this guy is, but it seems he's not quite clear how old he is. Okay, now let's keep going. So this was shut down in 2021, okay, and the assets were frozen in July of 2021, and losses were 12 million. So 24 million came in, 12 million was lost from nearly close to 70% of the investors. So 277 of a roughly 400 investors. So 90% of the company's income came from investors, and seems that zero of it was used to trade crypto. And then this guy ran the business with his mother, Joy, who was in her 80s at that time. And then transferred 1.2 million to her in less than 2 months across 10 different transactions of equal amounts. And then finally, back in 2009, the regulator, seems that the SEC had dealt with this defendant before, filing a civil injunction against him and his father in the year 2009 over a pump and dump scheme run through a company called Skyway Global, which cost investors about 12 million at that time. So once again, he's seems to be able to get $12 million every time that comes and goes. And then the final part, of course, just talks about the big picture of fraud itself. So with that being said, we just wanted to cover this article because there's a lot of unfortunate case studies, and they keep coming. And there will continue to be, it seems, more and more stories like this of people who are behaving badly. So we have a behaving badly playlist on our YouTube channel, bad behavior, and we've got a lot of other playlists covering countries and general tutorials for cryptodeposit.org. And we wish you all a great day, and we will see you back here soon on the YouTube channel with more exciting articles covering stablecoins, covering industry regulation, covering legislation. This article here today is the reaction of the United States government when this person was trying to test the limits of what they can do with the business model that clearly was ruled to be and determined to be a Ponzi scheme, and not their first run-in with the SEC of the United States. So hope you guys have a good day, and once again, see you soon again, hopefully here on the YouTube channel with more videos that we cover on topics such as these. Have a good day.